Hi, I'm Ninny. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how you can take any piece of home decor like this resin lion here and make it look like metal using not much more than a bit of paint. So I've got our lion here. Now I found this guy at a thrift store quite some time ago. And I think he looks a little cheesy. I don't really like the way that it's painted. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to show you how you can take something like this, a thrift store find or a yard sale find, and make it match your home decor, or, maybe you just love that faux metal look. And this is a really easy project. So the things you're going to need are obviously some kind of home decor piece, an animal. It doesn't have to be an animal. I think it's important that it has some detail, some high spots and low spots in it. You're going to need black paint. I'm using Fusion mineral paint in the color cast iron. Coal black would be their blackest paint, but cast iron's a close second to the blackest, and I prefer the coverage in this color. So that's why I've chose to go with that. And then you're going to need something in a metallic color. So you can use paint. I have Fusion mineral paint metallics copper here. Or you can use a wax such as Rub and Buff. I have it in antique gold. It doesn't have to be gold or copper. It could be silver, bronze, whatever color you prefer. So depending on what type of object you've chosen, you may have to do different steps to prep it for paint. No matter what you're choosing, you want to give it a really good thorough cleaning. And if you think it's been handled a lot, there's a lot of fingerprints on it, or there is possibly some oils on it or grease or anything, you're going to want to clean it with Fusion's TSP alternative to remove any of those oils or grease. And then if it's a shiny, non-porous surface, so something like metal or glass, you should apply first a bonding primer. We would use Fusion's Ultra Grip for that, and that will just allow the paint to adhere really well to that surface. In this case, with this resin lion, I guess I'm getting low on that paint. In this case, with this resin lion, I've cleaned him really well, but I'm not really going to do too much else. Yeah, he's non-porous, but I think the paint's going to stick to him quite well. So I'm just going to go over the entire lion. And of course, I meant to take a before picture, and I've already forgotten, and it's too late. But you can see, I mean, Fusion mineral paint has such fabulous coverage. And he would actually look really cool just in the cast iron, just the color without the metallic. It would make him look, like a cast iron lion. So that's also an option. The main point of this video is I want to show you how easily you can, if you find something in a thrift store and you think, oh, I really like that, but the colors don't suit my decor. You can change the colors. You can change the color of just about anything. Paint has come such a long way in the last 10 or 20 years. I remember when I was a kid, I would say to my dad was a painter, and I would say, can I paint this? And he'd go, not really, it's plastic. Or, can I paint this? Well, not really, it's glass or it's metal. Or, if you did paint it, you had to use some kind of nasty, stinky products. But paint has come so far, and now the possibilities are literally just endless. As long as it's not alive, pretty much, you can paint it. You can even paint, your fabric furniture. You can paint your couch these days. Like, it's literally endless possibilities. I'm already loving this guy just in the black. Okay, so there he has had 2 coats of cast iron. And as awesome as I think he looks right now, just like this, I promised you that I would teach you how to make him look like faux metal, so that's what we're going to do. And I think he's going to look even cooler when he's done. So I did a little kind of test spot here just to make sure that I was going to get the look that I wanted. So I have decided I'm going to go with the Fusion mineral paint in the color copper. This is one of their metallics. This is just a little tester here. You can get it in a bigger size as well, 250 mils. And a little bit of this is going to go a very long way. So the process for doing dry brushing versus applying the wax is fairly the same. The key is that you don't want too much of either. So with the rub and buff, I would usually get a cloth or even just your fingertip and get just a small amount of the rub and buff and then just kind of wipe it over the high areas. Remember, what's going to make this look like faux metal, and the reason we painted it black, is you want the black to stay in all these deep little nooks and crevices. And then we want the metallic color on the high points. But with the paint, we're going to be dry brushing. So I'm going to get a little piece of paper towel here. Set him down for just a second. And so what dry brushing means is that your brush is almost dry. So you don't want to start with a lot of paint to begin with. And then you want to knock most of that paint back off of the brush. Always start with less, and as you get confident, you can maybe add a little bit more if you think you need to. But it's way better to have too little and keep going over and doing multiple coats than it is to have too much and kind of ruin everything in the beginning. So what you want to do now that our brush has got just a tiny bit of metallic paint on it is you want to drag it over the high points. So on something like his mane here, rather than coming down like this and risking the brush going into those deeper crevices, you want to just drag it across the high points. And the same with his fur here. His fur goes, this way. We want to try and drag across it instead of with the fur. And like I said, you just start with a little bit like I'm doing now. And if you want to add more, you most certainly can. You just add more layers, more coats, and make it more and more metallic. I really like the copper for the lion. But I think gold would have been awesome as well. I also think he would have looked really cool in just a solid metallic. I could have just painted him solid gold. Which what I would have done if I was going to try and do solid gold, because a lot of metallic paints need kind of a base paint underneath them to really make them pop, is I would have done probably a yellow, like a mustard, underneath the gold paint. And I think under copper, you actually would typically do red. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that just really makes the metallics really stand out. Hopefully you can already see how cool this guy's gonna look. I'm really glad now that I chose copper, actually. I'm really, really liking this. Do his face here. I might just purposely avoid his eyeballs, except I've already hit that one, so we'll go over the eyes a bit. Do a light coat over all of it, and if you're still not satisfied with the amount of copper, go again, but just always with that really dry brush. I think too, if you'd wanted to do copper, I said you could do red underneath, but I think even black would work pretty well, because this is really nice metallic paint. It's showing up really nicely on the black. Look how cool he's looking. I'm so happy with this already. I'm gonna try and move him. So next time you're at the thrift store, I mean, keep an eye out for stuff like this that you think, maybe it looks a little tacky or a little too cartoonish, and just think, how would it look if I painted it black or made it look faux metal? And something else actually that I wanted to mention is you could have also made him look like faux rock. And I will do another video on that in the future when I find another good candidate for that. But the process is exactly the same. You start with black or a very dark color, and then you would go and dry brush with a medium color. So I usually would do a gray for faux rock. And I would do quite a bit of the dry brushing with the gray. And then at the end, you take white and just highlight just the very highest points. And you will be amazed just with that technique how much it really looks like stone. So I decided to speed up this portion of the video because I don't think that you need to watch me do all this dry brushing in regular time. But I did include the sped up footage because I think that it's still pretty interesting and satisfying to watch this lion as he comes to life. And in a moment, I'll show you the completed project. But let us know in the comments what you think, and maybe, you know, have you done something similar, or are you planning to do something similar? Also, let us know if you have any questions, and if you'd hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, we would greatly appreciate that. All of the products can be found on our website at ninniesnapkins.com. Thank you so much for watching.